On today's episode of Hit the Books Podcast, Stitcher has doubled down on its investment in Wolverine. The problem is nobody can remember why he's there or why there's a body.
Just like himself.
Big changes are coming to Justice League number 19, and Hit the Books is now on Spotify. Today's date is February 23rd, 2019. Hello and welcome to another episode of Hit the Books Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Holcomb.
And I'm Emery Saunders.
And we're here to give you all the saucy deets on everything comics this week. For those of you unfamiliar with the show, this is your weekly comic book podcast where Emery and I, and perhaps a guest, bring you through the latest news, give you the new comic book releases coming to your local comic book shops.
Please support your local comic book shops.
And discuss the topic about the world of comics for your amusement. If that sounds like a good time, be sure to hit like and subscribe down below and check out our other services. We are now on Stitcher, on iTunes, and
Spotify.
By popular demand, we are now on Spotify. We apologize it took us so long. Didn't take as long as I thought it was, going to.
It's an easier process than you'd think.
They've definitely improved things. So
Yep.
We're on Spotify now. Links will be in the description of all of the services, so be sure to check those out if you prefer a different service to listen and hear us on. And of course, we are always on Patreon at patreon.com/hitthebooks if you would like to support this show, as well as our new wrestling podcast hosted by myself and my brother Dan, the man, Maloney.
Ooh, coming from the filthy casual himself.
Be sure to check that out if you have any interest in the WWE. Spoiler, the WWE is better than it's been in probably 15 years.
I mean, way to raise the bar a foot off the ground.
It was bad, but it's right on the level of Attitude Era. And for in-ring talent, for actual performing in the ring, it's above Attitude Era.
Much like the rest of the entertainment industry nowadays, we are always trying to reach back to the 90s.
So if you've checked out of the WWE/WWF, you might want to hop back in. There's some really good stuff going on right now, especially what's going on with Daniel Bryan right now.
Oh my God, that new belt.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh,
it's beautiful.
I want one.
Oh yeah. So watch SmackDown specifically. Don't start with Raw. You might get the worst impression possible. Watch
okay.
NXT. Watch SmackDown.
Oh yeah, that I haven't been into wrestling for quite some time, and now that you mention it, and from what you showed me, yeah, I'm gonna start with SmackDown.
Hell yeah.
They've got some. Ooh, they really stepped their game up this time.
They're killing it. Killing it. So, yeah, be sure to check out that show and its epic intro I just created for episode 2. Just fill you in if you haven't watched the 3rd episode of Hit the Mats yet, and it's probably not posted yet, so why would you?
Yeah.
We had to change the name of the podcast from Hit the Ropes to Hit the Mats. Unfortunately, we didn't realize that there was another very popular podcast that's like 300 episodes in that is called Hit the Ropes and is also about wrestling.
Who would have guessed?
So we had to rebrand a little bit. So the first 2 episodes we say Hit the Ropes Podcast, but what we meant was Hit the Mats Podcast. Totally a mistake.
Yeah.
We never would have called ourselves that. So sorry.
Yeah. This is like... You know, sometimes you have parallel ideas, and it's not until you actually go through with your ideas that you realize, someone else has been doing something a little similar.
Yeah, it gave me a lot of work that I did not want on my plate, which is why the former episode got out late.
Yeah.
Although hopefully this episode will get out on time on Wednesday or Thursday, and then the weekend, obviously, for the wrestling podcast. So apologies for that. Hopefully we're back on schedule, but there's always something. There's always something.
Yeah, much like wrestlers themselves, sometimes they hit the ropes, other times they hit the mats.
Yeah. So go ahead and check those out if you are interested. And of course, supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com/hitthebooks supports both shows. And if you contribute to either one, as little as $1, but all the way to the sky, if you so choose.
Oh, yeah.
You will earn tiers depending on what you donate. Our former producer, Will Beasley, contributed a very significant amount to which he won a volume of our choosing based on his aesthetics and what he liked. And a nice personalized letter with both our signatures, of course, and a graphic on it, thanking him for his contribution and a few other goodies as well. So big thank you to Will Beasley for his former support of the show. It really went a long way. And, of course, he got credited as a producer on several episodes of the show for, I think, that month and a half, somewhere around there. So, yeah, look out for that. What have you been reading?
I have actually been catching myself up on... I think I just got done reading through, and I'm still, right now, going through a bunch of Ghostwriter issues. I don't know why.
So Spirits of Vengeance really got you back into it, huh?
Oh, yeah. There's something about... I gotta say, like, as a kid, I don't know what it was about flame-headed motorcyclists that really got me into it. But, man... I think that might have been kind of telling for how my life went.
My apologies to Bob. He was not on the set initially.
Right.
How dare I disrespect the greatness that is Bob?
How dare you?
I'm ashamed. But please continue.
Oh, yeah. It's been something that I actually recently went back and read some issues done by, I think it was Mark Texiera and Daniel Way. And, oh, my God. Like, I went back and looked at there was an arc in which Ghostwriter... escaping hell, accidentally dragged the devil out with him.
Very nice.
Yeah. And
now this brings up an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't Daredevil and Ghost Rider just change names? Why don't they just give their names to each other?
I see what you're getting at here.
Ghost Rider is literally a devil who rides a motorcycle.
Literally a daredevil.
Making people atone for their sins, more or less.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you see, here's the thing. If they were to switch names, what the fuck would Daredevil be?
Have you not seen the Daredevil movie? He literally sees, in quotes, ghosts everywhere. That's how he sees. It's his weird sonar thing.
But he's not a writer.
And tell that to Elektra.
Oh, okay. I see what's happening here.
I went there.
Just because Dorkly released some kind of thing where a bunch of 16-bit characters talked about, Daredevil, your name should be Batman because you use sonar. And it's like, Ghost Rider, your name should be Daredevil because you were a daredevil once and now you're a devil who dares anyone to spill the blood of the innocent. Look, I get it. I really do.
It's a very good video. Check it out.
A lot of these names could be switched around a little bit, but the names are fine. The names are fine the way they are.
It's
fine. Like Ghost Rider
fine.
Is a dead man who rides he literally rides his motorcycle across the country, sometimes across the plains between heaven and hell and the earth in between to mete out vengeance because fuck you, why are you such an asshole? And Daredevil is a man who's got the devil in him and he dares you to start some shit.
Hot.
There are
literally
there are reasons why these people have their names, okay? Just let it happen. Just let it happen. Anyone
Poor
who...
Elektra.
God damn it. And Elektra may have had a thing for her dad. Who knows? But...
Weird.
A little weird. Look. The names are fine.
They're fine.
They're fine.
Just fine.
Unless your name is fucking Sideways.
Speaking of which,
Whoo.
new issue out this week.
Final issue?
The final issue, unfortunately.
Maybe they'll rename him?
If they would, that would be wonderful. And they can just call him Spider-Man. But I won't care because the book's good. So
They could call him, I don't know, Rift?
and call him Pussy Riot for all I care.
Whoo!
It's a good book.
Hot take.
Yeah. But yes, please continue.
Yeah. I've been catching up on Ghost Rider issues.
Okay.
Yeah, there was
Johnny Blaze currently?
Johnny Blaze. And mind you, his stories are usually my favorite. I just wish that they would sack up and let him have his classic aesthetic instead of stealing from Danny Ketch this whole fucking time.
We do what we want.
Apparently. God. I get it. Danny Ketch's aesthetic was fucking cool. Maybe make Danny Ketch cool as well. Not that tall of an order.
It's a struggle.
Oh, okay. I was reading the one where it's like, okay, he dragged the devil out of hell with him, and lo and behold, he now has to drive across the country to beat up the devil 666 times. Worth it, completely worth it. One of my favorite issues was in the middle of this crusade to kind of make the devil reform and have his ultimate power just so he can drag only one of them to hell. Which, speaking of that phrase, if you haven't seen the movie Drag Me to Hell, watch it. It's great. Sam Raimi at his finest. Weird plug aside. My favorite issue in that whole thing actually had nothing to do with Satan being dragged all the way back to hell. It was this whole story coincided with another really cool story, World War Hulk. That's the story where
yeah, I'm familiar. No,
yeah.
Do we need it?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, we do. Okay.
Sounds dumb on paper. I'm just warning you.
Okay. Imagine for a moment the Hulk, who had been exiled from Earth, had been forced to live his existence not on a peaceful planet, but on a warlike planet where he has to be the Hulk all day, all night, all the time, no exceptions. He boned an alien while he was the Hulk and had a son. That is how much Hulk was. Then he decided to come back and say, yeah, I'm still fucking mad. Fuck all of you. And tries to fight people like Black Bolt, Charles Xavier, Reed Richards,
The Illuminati.
The Illuminati. Tony Stark and Namor, and Doctor Strange. Every single one of those hoity-toity motherfuckers was gonna get it. Because fuck them.
Hot. Now, where does Ghost Rider come into this?
Ghost Rider comes in because, according to Doctor Strange, there is literally only one person in all of existence that can take the Hulk out. And it's Ghost Rider.
I can confirm that that's false.
According to Doctor Strange...
Well, Doctor Strange is an idiot.
According to Doctor Strange, and according to the books at that time, Ghost Rider has technically nearly limitless power. The only thing that keeps Ghost Rider at bay is Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blaze has been the safety on the extra-dimensional gun that is the Ghost Rider, apparently. This whole fucking time. This whole time, There's been only one person to do it, and what do you know? Why don't we send this person to take care of the Hulk? You know what happens in this fight?
Do I want to know?
I'm going to tell you.
All right.
Yep. Okay, so we convince Ghost Rider to stop the Hulk from basically meting out his own vengeance upon the entire world who wronged him. Because, pot, kettle, you're black. Really? Who would have guessed? Stop taking out your vengeance on everybody, said the fucking Ghost Rider. They get into a fight. It gets explosive, quite literally.
Hot.
There gets to be a point in which both Reed Richards and Stephen Strange are just watching this fight from afar, and it's like, okay,
Fucking Illuminati.
yeah,
That's what they always do.
Yeah, this is we like to watch.
Create chaos and just sit back and watch.
Yeah, pretty much. So there comes a point in that fight in which the Hulk really lets Ghost Rider have it, and it's like, oh man, there's no way that this is going to end well for anyone, because like the minute that the safety goes off and Johnny Blaze isn't in control anymore, all bets are off. Everyone might fucking die at that point.
Hot.
And then, who would have guessed? The safety was off. Johnny Blaze was no longer in control for like a hot second. Guess what happens? He looks at him, stares him down a little bit. Not even the pennant stare, just straight looking at him. And then just decides to ride the fuck off.
Bitch, I'm out.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because the Hulk was innocent. And the Illuminati most definitely were not.
I think we all knew that. Okay.
That's one of my favorite issues, just because it's like, you know what?
The problem with that book isn't the fun to be had in the book. The problem with that book is the entire premise. Which is a flaw that I feel like should be addressed. Again, I haven't read the book, but based on the cliff notes you're giving me, is Hulk wearing a helmet?
He's not.
Specifically Magneto's helmet?
Nope.
This is a very easily solvable problem. Xavier, go fuck yourself. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
But what if Charles Xavier went into his mind and just decided, I want to scramble with you, and then the Hulk was like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna like brain flex and get you the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure he gets dumber when he becomes the Hulk. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed.
I forgot to mention this part of World War Hulk. Because he's the Hulk that whole fucking time, the Hulk actually gets smart-ish. And by that,
smart-ish does not mean smart.
True. that is not what that means, but
it's like Rowan quoting Galileo on SmackDown, all right?
Oh.
Which is awesome.
Oh. Yeah, I'm sure Xavier could try it. Why he didn't, I don't know, but fuck it.
Yeah, so I'll probably read it because it sounds fun.
It's a lot of fun.
But the entire premise is flawed. It's very flawed.
Maybe Professor X took a pacifist route?
Yeah, he was sure a pacifist when he sent him to a fucking another planet to die.
What? He just sent him to...
That was so pacifistic, you fuck.
He took him to a planet where he thought he was going to live in peace.
Oh my god.
Away from everyone. What could possibly go wrong?
I mean, you could basically just fucking brain scramble him. Be done. You don't even have to kill the guy. Just brain scramble him. Problem solved. There you go. All happy? Good. Bye. But no.
About that.
Ghost Rider is apparently the only one available.
I'm not sure where Charles Xavier or any of the X-Men were during that story. But
Also, we know Wolverine has killed the Hulk before. Maybe not in that timeline.
Okay, he stabbed him.
He killed the Hulk. Old Man Logan.
Oh,
Yeah.
different timeline.
Different timeline. Still happened. Just letting you know.
He could.
So this Doctor Strange saying that he's the only one capable is complete horseshit. I've just named 2 that could easily change this.
Look, they're trying to beef up Ghost Rider, okay? Just let him have it. We're trying.
Should I bring in Jean Grey?
No.
That's 3.
She's dead. She was double, triple dead by that time.
Oh, but she came back. Of course.
All of them. Every single fucking form.
How about Emma Snow?
You mean Emma Frost?
Yeah, I call her Snow because she's naked. I can see her lily white skin everywhere.
Emma Frost would turn into a diamond and get broke.
She wouldn't have to because she'd be nowhere near the guy. Let me just pop in your head for a hot minute and dead. She's not even constrained by supposed morality like Xavier.
Oh.
Easy fix.
Oh.
You're all fucking retards and I hate you all.
Okay, that does bring up a really good question. Where the fuck were the X-Men? Maybe
Right,
they were...
The Avengers and the X-Men don't mix, okay? We already know this. When they mix, there's a war, okay? We can't have that happen again. We're not friends.
They're not friends at all. Fucking... They're so not friends the minute that Cyclops comes back from the dead again. The first thing that he does is get into a fucking screaming match with Captain America.
About which one looks more like a blue dick? Who looks more like a blue penis? Captain America with his big blue A-head? Or Cyclops with his big blue laser head?
I'm seeing a pattern here. Cyclops, don't you ever put that fucking blueberry cowl on your head again. Don't.
Yeah, let that hair just flow in the wind. Let it show.
Let's go back to where you were good. The 90s.
Although I don't know if he needs the yellow undies. So maybe it's just me. I don't know.
He can
It looks
go,
good in a bomber jacket, though.
He could do without those. Fucking look at what DC did with their undies on the outside characters.
Yeah, they brought him back after like 10 fans complained on the internet. Is that what you're talking about? Superman doesn't have red underpants. This is bullshit. I won't read this. Fucking idiots.
Just let them have a belt. Let them have a brightly colored belt. They don't... And pants. Just pants. Strongman pants are strong now. They don't rip at the asshole.
Have you read anything else?
No, not particularly.
All right, well, I got a surprise for you.
Oh, do you?
I read a Marvel book.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you read?
I read Old Man Quilliam.
Oh, how was it?
So Old Man Quill is basically set in the Old Man Logan timeline.
Of course.
Most recently, Old Man Hawkeye. Now we're seeing what happened to the Guardians of the Galaxy in this timeline.
Oh,
and
man, we don't have an Old Man Castle?
Why they haven't done anything in 50 years.
Because we got old.
Now,
That's a pretty easy answer.
I told you before when I was reading Old Man Hawkeye, it was good.
Yeah.
It was a solid book.
Yeah.
Good artwork, fun storyline, kind of like a prequel to the original Old Man Logan book.
Yeah.
I have not read the sequel to Old Man Logan that was written by another guy. I probably won't. Because it eventually makes him go into the modern timeline, and I think that's dumb.
That is really fucking dumb.
So it's like, that premise is dumb. I'm not going to read it. It may be great. I'll never know.
I've actually read some of it. It's dumb. It's real dumb.
I figured. And
should have left it alone.
but Old Man Hawkeye brought me back into the world, and I enjoyed it. And Old Man Quill is kind of more after the original Old Man Logan, and definitely after Old Man Hawkeye. And
okay.
the basic premise, it's pretty much illustrated through the first issue what's going to happen. Like, the foreshadowing is very heavy. But basically in this timeline, Quill has kind of forsaken the Guardians of the Galaxy to go and be responsible. Now, maybe it's because I am not all caught up on what the current canon is with Guardians of the Galaxy, but I thought his dad was the Living Planet.
Oh.
But is his dad some emperor now?
Technically, his dad has always been an emperor. The movie is the one that decided to go a different route with that one.
Okay, so that's the literal one. The movie just completely changed it.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, not really a big fan of the comic book Guardians of the Galaxy, and quite frankly, I think that book was garbage and still is often garbage and until the movies came out. And even after the movies came out, a lot of the books were garbage, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, that's... James Gunn knows how to take what is there and mix it until something actually sweet comes out.
Yeah. However, I will give credit to the actual production crew for this book. They captured kind of the movie qualities in the characters instead of the comic book ones, which are fucking boring.
Yeah.
In my opinion, they're all boring.
Yeah.
But this guy proceeds with kind of the movie kind of aesthetic as far as the characters dynamics go. You have your classic movie ones, not the kind of ones that come in and out of the comic books.
Right.
You got Drax, you got Rocket Raccoon, you got Gamora, you got Mantis, and obviously Peter Quill himself. I haven't mentioned some people, so maybe interpret that how you will.
Yeah, I wonder what could have happened.
But the first book basically sets up he became emperor of this planet in place of his father.
Right.
I'm assuming his father died or something. I don't know.
People die when they get old, typically.
And he has a family and a wife on this planet. No, it's not Gamora.
Of course not.
But
you think he's actually going to get what he wants?
Yeah, but the Church of the Universal Truth, which is who worships the Dark Lord and basically sanctifies all of these planets by destroying them.
Oh my god.
Has been at war with his planet for a while. And in an effort to protect his planet, he makes a preemptive strike on their flagship and whatnot to try to disable them before they can attack them, because they've been coming for a while and they've been at war for a while.
Right.
Now he alludes that, hey, he's pled for help from, the Avengers, from the X-Men, from several groups on Earth, but none of them have been responding to his calls, and we know why now, because
the Earth is all fucked.
Yeah, of course he doesn't know that.
Right.
And so he goes and makes this preemptive attack, and I'm going to spoil the first issue for you just because it's you're going to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Basically, while he's doing this attack and making this strategic brilliance and whatnot, he actually wins what he's trying to do, but while he's gone, he left the planet completely undefended.
Oh.
And so they took advantage of that and basically destroyed the planet. Didn't destroy the planet outright, but basically murdered everybody that was on it.
Right.
And so from that point of realization, it jumps forward 50 years. And that's the Peter Quill today, where he gets drunk and puts himself in hypersleep until, he's basically like a smuggler now, more or less. And he just lives his life kind of like...
He actually gets to be the Han Solo that he always thought he was.
Pretty much.
Old man Solo.
And he's basically Logan in space. Yep. He's miserable. He's miserable. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't go on adventures anymore. He's just a guy. He's just a drunk, sleepy guy who hates his life and will never forgive himself for his strategic mistake against the Church of the Universal Truth.
Logan in space.
And then the issue ends with the appearance of the older Guardians of the Galaxy there with a new mission for it.
Oh.
More to come. And then I read the second issue. Second issue brings back a lot of familiar faces and a lot of
As you do.
familiar events. If you read Old Man Logan and whatnot, that you will pick up right away. I won't spoil that part because that part's pretty fun, and it incentivizes you to read the first issue and go through it to get to the second issue. So,
Oh, yeah.
I am enjoying it. We'll see what it becomes. There is just a hair of silliness to it,
A little hair.
but it's still very enjoyable, and I really am enjoying it. The next book I picked up and read, I finally got around to some Black Label stuff from DC.
Oh.
I read the first and second issues of Batman Damned, aka Bat Penis.
Oh, you got around the dick, huh?
Yeah. No, I did not shell out the cash to get the original Bat Dick version, so unfortunately you'll just have to Google search that one if you care to see it. So what I will say is the Bat Dick panel is completely unnecessary. I thought it was going to be, since it's a book where he's with John Constantine and there's a lot of supernatural stuff going on. I thought that it was going to be him going crazy and he's in this world, like, weird kind of ethereal, some kind of supernatural world or event or hallucination or something, and that's why he's naked. Nope.
Wait a minute.
Nope. He just...
You thought for a second that Batman would for some reason be naked as a result of whatever fucking supernatural shenanigans
Yeah.
he and Constantine were about to get up to.
Yeah, exactly. Because that would make sense. No.
Sounds legit.
What happens in this book is he just feels like getting naked right after he gets out of the Batmobile. He pulls up to the Batcave and says, "You know what's good for a penis? Cold cave air and bats." And he just strips down and he's just naked.
You know what's wrong with that?
There's no reason for it.
You know what's really wrong with that? That completely colors any instance that you would imagine Batman getting home from being Batman whilst a Robin is in the car with him.
Yeah. No appearance of Robin as of right now.
How many fucking times did he do this?
I don't know.
This is the question
It's
now.
real weird. It doesn't make any sense. There's no reason for it. So all the controversy about the Bat Dick, just a little bit warranted. Because it's nudity for the sake of nudity. There was literally no reason for him to be naked in that panel and just to have dong, waving around. It didn't need to be there.
Ooh. I know how I'll counteract all of these boob comics. It'll be perfect.
Brilliant.
And it'll sell like
Check
fucking...
and mate. Self.
I can't believe I've done this. God damn it.
Yeah, it was real dumb. At least that panel. So I take back everything I said in defense of the Bat Dick and the censoring of it. It was stupid. Like, should art be censored? No. But was that necessary at all? No. It was not necessary. And I hope you all enjoy the $100 you spent on that issue to get the Bat Dick, because it's definitely not worth it.
People like fan fiction, right? I wonder how many people have been trying to figure out what Batman's dick would look like underneath that costume.
Yeah.
Ooh, mystery solved.
So what I'll say about this book is visually it's very stunning. The panels
Even the dick.
I mean, it's a dick. It looks like a flaccid penis. But the book is drawn very well. The art is very uniquely drawn. It's not your typical comic book fare. It's more of a...
It's not your typical bat dick.
Yeah, everything looks like a classic, paperback noir cover, something along those lines. I'm trying to give you the basic premise of the book, but really nothing is coherent yet. And it's only 3 issues long. There's book 1, book 2, and book 3. They're all supersized books, so it's a long book, so you're paying a little bit extra, but the story is completely incoherent. Like, you have John Constantine, who is narrating through the book and
trying to get to the bottom of that bad dick.
Basically rambling, and there's no real reason for it. There's these random flashbacks to Bruce Wayne as a child watching his mom and dad fight and argue, and then he finds out that his mom or his dad's been cheating on her, and like just stupid stuff that doesn't seem to need to be there and
what
has
the fuck?
No relation to the modern day story whatsoever. There's a lot of supernatural cameos. I won't spoil them for you in case you're interested in being surprised by them, but really it's not worth it because it's just they're there.
They're there for being there.
I will say Etrigan the demon appears, and it's in the stupidest way possible. If you ever wanted to see Etrigan the demon rap, this is the book for you. He is literally an underground rapper in this book.
As in he raps from hell.
Yeah, he spits hot fire.
God damn it!
Dylan. I spit hot fire, man. And he literally tells Batman, "Get away from me, you're too close."
Oh, I'm dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of stupid in this book. It's written by Brian Azzarello, and I think there's a good idea somewhere in there, but I haven't found it yet. And the artwork is brilliant. All right, I don't want to take anything away from the artwork, but this book it's nonsensical, and really so far in the first 2 issues, there is no reason whatsoever for a supernatural element. None. They're just there. They have John Constantine narrate and have a rapper version of Etrigan for no apparent reason. And yeah, so basically, from what I can gather between 2 supersized issue books for the premise, is that something happened on the bridge that night. Batman was initially all destroyed and fucked up and stabbed and whatever else. Can't remember what happened. Very Wolverine-esque. And
oh no more Dark Claw. No more Dark Claw.
And supposedly, Joker has been found dead. But is he dead? Premise. And just stupid shit. Just nonsensical stuff keeps happening for no reason. However, I kind of have a theory of what's going to be the ending of this book. If it's going to try to make sense, this is what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to have a Sixth Sense moment. Like, but I'm a ghost too, or something along those lines.
He was dead the whole time.
And that's going to explain the supernatural element of it. But if that's not the case, I don't know how they're going to tie everything together in this last issue. Oh, and another fun fact for issue 2, book 2. Batman is almost crazy raped.
What?
He's almost crazy raped.
What?
Read more to find out.
What the...
Although I don't know yet if I should tell you to read this book or not, because I'm not sure I want to support it yet.
Did Zack Snyder give them notes? What the fuck is this bullshit?
There's a lot of stupid happening in this book. Now, I'll give it credit in this way. Beyond the art being amazing, it is an adult book. It is a very valiant attempt to make something serious and something adults can appreciate more than, say, the typical comic book fare. However, it is being so poorly executed and it is so incoherent, I don't know if this is going to pay off at all. If it does, great. I'm all about it. But so far, Brian Azzarello has not done himself any favors.
This sounds like a fucked up fever dream that a comic book writer would have about everyone's crazy-ass billionaire who flies around in a bat-themed onesie punching strangers. Don't get me wrong, the billionaire guy running around in a bat-themed onesie punching strangers is standard for, our favorite character here. Not our favorite character. We like Nightwing because, at least he's a showman. But for DC's flagship character, which I don't know why I'm saying that about anyone who isn't Superman, for DC's flagship character to be still, at this point, taking notes from Snyder in terms of, did you say he got fucking crazy raped?
He got crazy raped.
What the oh my god.
Yep. Well, almost. He was this close to being crazy raped. And we almost had a second sighting of Bat Dong. Almost. I'm pretty sure if the controversy hadn't happened, there would be a Bat Dong in that issue.
What? Was he fighting someone while naked?
Almost. I won't spoil it.
God.
It's the ending to book 2.
Damn
so
it.
You'll probably want to read it, but yeah.
I probably won't want to read it.
I will say this. There is one element that makes it intriguing, and that is the element of Enchantress and what is happening with Enchantress in this book. That is the one thread that I do want to see through to the end. And it may give context to the flashbacks. Again, so incoherent, it's hard to tell, but we'll see. And also, Edgerton as a rapper, it's beyond dumb.
I now want to see that character played by Eminem.
Oh, God. No, you don't. No, you don't. Don't lie to the folks. And then I've been doing more catching up with the New Age of DC Heroes. I've talked about it the past 2 episodes. I've been catching up on all the New Age of DC Heroes events and books to kind of give you the inside scoop as to whether it was a good effort or not. For those of you who don't know, DC started this New Age of DC Hero initiative, I think at the very beginning, very end of the previous year, very beginning of last year. And they had a lot of great flagship titles. So far, my reviews for the ones I've gotten through all the way. Curse of Brimstone, really good. Silencer, outstanding. The Terrifics, outstanding if you can play along with the concept that it's basically DC's Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And they know that they are DC's Fantastic Four, and they play into it very heavily.
Oh, yeah.
If that doesn't bother you, and it didn't me because I found the book really enjoyable, you will love this book. It is a great title, and you don't need to know who these characters are. One of them is brand new, Phantom Girl. Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Plastic Man have more or less been irrelevant to the greater DC universe, but they're great characters and they're very well fleshed out as human beings in these books. So read the Terrifics, read Silencer, read Curse of Brimstone for sure. And then Sideways, very much like the Terrifics, is a very self-aware Spider-Man ripoff, but with kind of Nightcrawler's powers.
Kind of.
It's very convoluted, a very dark universe, Dark Knight's Metal lore heavy, but it is still really enjoyable. Really good writing, really good character dynamics, cool costume, great support characters. The only problem is the name is really, really dumb. And they acknowledge in the later issues of the book that the name is really, really dumb. Other than that, great book. And then back on Silencer, just to give you a warning, first 3 issues are really rough read. Just because of the artwork. I'm sorry, John Romito Jr. I really hate reading his books because it's just so hard to tell what the hell's going on. And everything is so starkly angled at 90-degree angles. Everything is box-like, and all the characters look exactly the same.
Harsh angles.
However, after he leaves the book, I think after issue 3 or 4, the art becomes outstanding, and the rest of the run is really, really good. And there's some really striking full-page panels later on in that year run there. The only ones I think that are still going are the Terrifics, although I think the Terrifics is about to end. The very final issue of Sideways comes out this week, and then Silencer is continuing on into the future. Now, I read a little bit of Damage. It's still awful. I'm not going to read anymore. Don't read Damage. It's a Hulk ripoff, but set to a time limit of 1 hour.
Much like it's major, it's not legit.
If it lasts more than an hour, please see a doctor. It's really bad. Don't read Damage. And then the other one that came, this book was delayed several times. Probably because they were giving Jim Lee at the time 100 million things to draw and do, and he clearly did not care about this book, I don't think, because it was probably his worst effort I've ever seen on paper.
Yeah.
Immortal Men is not a good book. It's awful. It's incoherent. The dialogue is really cringeworthy.
Oh.
The artwork internally and externally is not good, even though Jim Lee, an all-time great, a guy that should be a comic book Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
It's just not good. It's not good. It's really bad. Scott Williams wrote it, I'm sorry. Scott Williams contributed to the art, probably color. And then James Tynion IV, who we are often fans of, much like Jim Lee.
Yeah.
It's just not a good effort. It's very incoherent. It's very hard to follow. The dialogue doesn't make sense. The characters aren't very likable. Nothing about this book was good, and it got canceled pretty quickly. And I can see why.
Yeah.
It was not worth all the delays. They delayed it. It was supposed to be one of the launch titles for the new era of DC Heroes, and they didn't get it out, I think, until the end of April.
Ooh.
So that was 4 or 5 months delayed. And it was the book I was looking forward to the most because it had Jim Lee attached to it. The Immortal Men sounded cool. It sounded like a cool concept. I'm always in on like immortal characters that have been around forever, or should be around forever, like Wolverine. But it just didn't. Nothing about it worked.
Didn't pan out.
Nope. So
That's unfortunate.
yeah, unfortunately, it's not a good book. So far we're 4 for 2. So 4 books were really good. 2 books were really bad. Overall, I'd say that's a huge win. It introduced new, diverse characters to the DC lore. It did rip off Marvel a little bit, but more often than not, very self-aware about it, which is at least...
The two companies tend to do that to each other quite a bit.
Yeah, at least it's refreshing, you know, to read something in this universe, in this context, that is unabashedly, like, playing to a more fun aesthetic and giving you a dose of what Marvel's good at, but keeping it in the strengths of the DC universe. So it's kind of like a clashing of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And in a very good way. It doesn't have those same weaknesses that the DC books have, and it doesn't have the same weaknesses that a Marvel book has. It takes kind of the best of both and mushes them together into something that's really fun and really enjoyable, and I think you should pick up. So if you haven't read them already, pick up Curse of Brimstone, pick up Silencer, pick up Sideways. Ignore the dumb name, but other than the name, it's really good. And then definitely pick up the Terrifics. So,
did the new Challengers book ever come out?
It did. I haven't. That's the last one I got to get to. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that covers all of them. I think it was 7 titles total.
Yeah.
And the Challengers, the new Challengers, is the last one I got to get to. So, expect that probably next week.
Yeah.
We did the content match the drapes this week. The books we chose were just so far in, we never got a chance to read them.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we don't did the content match the drapes, but we will have more in the future. So be sure to stay tuned for that.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's get into some news.
All right.
So all this news this week comes from newsarama.com. They always give us great news headlines for comic book worlds. There are other more probably well-known sites that put comic book news out there. However, unfortunately, they often rely on just word on the street and bullshit that ends up not being true, and a lot of filler articles that just aren't worth your time. But Newsarama does a really good job. All of these articles this time come from Chris Arendt, who writes many of the articles on there, along with what was it, Grant
Marston?
Yeah, I think it's Marston.
Okay.
Might be wrong. I apologize if I screwed up your name. But let's get into it. Not a lot of news this week. First up, Stitcher has decided to re-up its contract with Marvel to do another podcast exclusive story called Wolverine: The Lost Trail. Now, their first initiative into this, I actually listened to it. It was enjoyable, but I think it's just because I'm not really audio based for a lot of things, especially storytelling.
Yeah.
I just had a hard time following it, and some of the voice actors that were playing the parts were just so over the top. It was a little hard to listen to sometimes.
Yeah, it might have sounded like they were overcompensating for the lack of visuals.
Yeah, but it was a decent experience. If you listen to Stitcher, which you should, if you listen to Hit the Books podcast and Hit the Mats podcast, because we're on there, they were advertising it pretty heavily at the end. Basically, it's an incentive to get you to pay for their premium service on the Stitcher app, which gives you access to a bunch of other shows and stuff like that,
Right.
and extra content and like new features on the apps and stuff like that.
Kind of like YouTube Premium.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty much how they earn most of their money. But Wolverine: The Long Night was basically about a bunch of dead bodies appearing in this small town in Alaska, and a mysterious stranger named Logan has shown up in town recently, and basically the story follows the detectives that are trying to figure out what happened, who the fuck this Logan guy is, who has amnesia again.
Who would have guessed?
Our
favorite thing to do with him.
But all that set aside, at the core concept, the story is pretty fun and pretty interesting. I personally couldn't get into the aesthetic, but I feel like people who are more auditorially focused will really enjoy it. When I listen to podcasts, I want it as more or less as background noise that I can hop in and out of while I'm, doing errands or doing dishes or,
doing something else.
I don't want to be completely immersed, into a podcast for several hours listening to a story. Again, that's just me.
Yeah.
It might be better for someone else who has more time in their hands and can focus on these things, but if I'm listening to a podcast, I want to just have it kind of there in passing to enjoy in between the points in my life where I got to really be focused,
right.
on the road or on doing dishes or, getting groceries, whatever the case is. But I think it's interesting that they re-up, so they must have made some kind of money on it between the two companies. Hopefully
had to.
And they haven't released the whole premise for it yet, but I assume it's going to build off of this current version of Wolverine. Now, if you don't like the audio setting, you can actually pick up the book. They started releasing a comic version of it, of Wolverine: The Long Night, which I picked up the first issue of. The art's really good, really solid. It definitely is a little bit different. I don't think they changed like the core storyline, but it's different to be more visually appealing and whatnot and give you more context. So there is something to be gathered from it if you listen to it and still want to pick up the book. It might be worth your time because it kind of fills in a few small gaps that you don't really get when you're listening to it. Next up on the news, again from Chris Arndt at Newsarama, Justice League number 19's cover art has been changed after the order by date. The new artist for the book, Jorge Jimenez, who we are big fans of.
Oh, yeah.
And who has won several comic covers of the week in the past, is taking over the book from the previous artist. The book will be returnable because it was changed after the return by or order by date, excuse me. And the old cover will now be a variant of Justice League number 20. So if you were really wanting that original 19 cover, it's okay. You're not losing it. You just got to wait for issue number 20, and then you got to pick up the variant. Hopefully it's a common variant, so you don't have to, pay a bunch of money to get it.
Right.
If you did want it, but look out for that. However, Jorge Jimenez's new cover art will be the official cover of issue 19, and the previous cover will be a variant to issue number 20. So be sure to look out for that. Next up in the news, this one coming from Chris Arndt yet again. We have our statistics from last month. We always like to kind of go through it, kind of give you the pulse of the industry right now and tell you how all the companies are doing, how the comic book industry as a whole is doing. So basically, the market share is pretty similar to how it's been. Marvel has the largest portion of the market at the moment, but that's largely because they have a huge volume. They release an outrageous number of books every week, as you'll hear when we go through the new releases.
Yeah.
But Marvel released 142 titles in the month of January. DC released 118. The next biggest, Image Comics, is about 60 issues behind with 67. IDW with 56. Dark Horse with 46. Boom with 36. Dynamite with 25 boob variants. And Viz Media with 25. Titan with 19. Archie with 18. And then everything else combined, 359. So you can see there's a stark difference between Marvel and pretty much everybody else. DC's up there, but they're still 30 titles, not books, titles behind.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the actual book rankings, here are your top 10 by units shipped. Number 1 is The Batman Who Laughs. Number 2. I get why people are interested in it. It's
What if Batman and the Joker were the same person?
yeah, it's Dark Knight's Metal was a dumb book. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Scott Snyder.
They had one interesting.
dumb.
It was real dumb. They have one interesting character in it, and it's the Batman Who Laughs. And even he is kind of like, why are you here again?
Yeah.
What? No, this is completely unnecessary.
This is dumb.
So I hope you're all enjoying that. I don't enjoy it. I might be in the minority, though. Maybe I'm just a jaded, stupid fan. I don't know. Number 2 was Captain Marvel, number 1. So the whole relaunch there.
Shocker.
Number 3 was Guardians of the Galaxy, number 1. The book I just tore apart for being super boring. Although maybe the new one's good. I don't know.
Maybe.
But my previous attempts to read the old Guardians of the Galaxy and the current Guardians of the Galaxy, it didn't go well. Very dialogue heavy for no reason.
Yep.
Not interesting dialogue either. Number 4, we have Conan the Barbarian, number 1. So Conan getting some love. Number 5, we have Amazing Spider-Man, number 14. Number 6, we got, you know who you're here for, Batman, number 62. And then number 7, Batman, number 63. Batman. And then number 8, unfortunately, we got Heroes in Crisis, number 4.
Unfortunately.
And number 9, we got Heroes in Crisis, number 5, which was an improvement over the rest of the books. But still, it's fine. It's fine, Tom King. It's fine.
Everything's fine.
It's fine.
Don't
It's
pull a Mr.
fine.
Miracle.
My review of the book, it's wasted potential. That's what it is. It's everything that it shouldn't have been. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm just a miserable, jaded fan.
Thanks, I hate it.
It's fine. And then number 10, we have Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, number 1. So Spider-Man getting some love, as you would expect. Batman getting plenty of love, as you would expect. Tom King, I love you, but I don't know if you need love for this one. And then Guardians of the Galaxy, number 1. Captain Marvel, number 1. Of course, number 1s always sell pretty well, so
Usually.
good on them. And a nice little balance between Marvel and DC. Unfortunately, no third-party companies got on the list. Usually Image or IDW gets on there, at least somewhere in there. But
yeah.
looks like they had kind of a weak showing this month. Overall, from December to January, as you would expect, most of the percentages in terms of comparative sales went down. But the good news is the year is starting really strong. And versus January of last year, sales are up pretty much across the board about 15 to 20%. And toys, if you care about toys, are up 35%. So a big jump for them. So yeah, go ahead and check all that stuff out. Again, it's on newsarama.com and written by Chris Arendt. Really good stuff there. If you like The Batman Who Laughs, I'm sorry. It's fine.
I am not sorry.
It's fine. I just don't like it. It's fine. It's
what
fine.
If this guy who's already in a gimp costume made his costume even more gimpy?
Yeah. So it's basically an origin story for that version of Batman. That's what it is.
Sounds about right.
It's such a dumb concept to begin with. Do you really need to know the origin?
No, you really don't.
It's fine.
It's
fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Everything's fine.
Well, Emery, that wraps up the news. No delay corner this week, so that's a good sign.
Hey.
And we seem to have a delay corner every week for the past 4 or 5 weeks, which is not good.
Maybe they're learning.
Or
maybe they're taking a week off. Who knows?
Yeah. And that is the news.
You know what? In case they ever drag me to hell, I want my last words to be, what comic books are we hitting up this week?
Well, Emery, I thought you'd never ask. All right, folks. We will now be separating the comics of the week recording just for convenience sake so that Emery can be here long enough to be in the final segment on weeks that were kind of time crunched. I'm also going to be making a separate cut of this segment independent of the actual podcast. So if you watch our YouTube channel and just need a quick resources to see what's coming this week, with obviously the covers on the YouTube channel and the names and companies of the books, please feel free to check out our YouTube channel and find these separate cuts. Of course, it's only going to go back to this week and beyond. It won't go back to last week and before, because simply it's too much work, and I don't have the time to go back and find them all and find the proper time codes and record them from the YouTube channel to my laptop to actually edit everything. So unfortunately, I won't be doing that. But going forward, we will have the release of the actual episode on all your podcast services and on the YouTube channel. And then we will have the actual new releases as a separate segment that is cut from the original podcast, just so that you can see it as a resource independent of the show. And if you need to go back to the show to see, what comics are coming out this week, you don't have to kind of comb through every bit of the episode to find it. And I will try my best to put time codes on each of the podcast videos. So if you don't want to watch, the new comics coming this week segment, you can actually just skip ahead to our awards of cover and variant cover of the week to hopefully be more convenient for our audience and anybody out there who relies on us as a comic book resource. So once again, we get all of these covers from freshcomics.us, which is a great resource if you want to see what's coming up, what came out last week, and what's coming out this week. This one is going to be for the week of February 27th, 2019. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, from Marvel Comics, we have Age of X-Man, Extremist, #1. We have Avengers, No Road Home, #3. We have Black Panther, #9, featuring a very Aquaman in the trench aesthetic there on that cover. We have Black Panther versus Deadpool, #2. We have Captain America, #8. We have Captain Marvel, Braver and Mightier, #1. We have Daredevil, #2, with a very cool kind of classic style. We have Fantastic Four, #7. We have Marvel Comics Presents, #2. We have A Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, #40 for the kids out there. We have Star Wars Dr. Aphra, #29 for you fucking nerds. We have The Amazing Spider-Man, #16. We have The Invaders, #2. We have The Savage Sword of Conan, #2. We have The Superior Spider-Man, #3. We have West Coast Avengers, #8. And then finally, we have X-Force, #3. From DC Comics, we have Action Comics, #1008. We have Batgirl, #32. We have Batman Beyond, #29. We have Detective Comics, #999, with a very intriguing story cover there, and makes me wonder what's going on in the narrative. We have Freedom Fighters, #3. We have Heroes in Crisis, #6, the latest from Tom King. We have Justice League Odyssey, #6, which is a pretty good book. I need to catch up on it. We have Martian Manhunter, #3, which I am still following. Kind of needs to find its voice, but we'll see what happens. We have Old Lady Harley, #5, which I'm pretty sure is just a single issue play of the regular Harley book. Kind of making fun of the Marvel old man books, Old Man Hawkeye, Old Man Logan, Old Man Quill, etc. We have Shazam, #3, the latest from Jeff Johns. We have Sideways, a very good new age of DC heroes, which I discussed earlier in the episode, #13. Wish they would change the name, though. The name is really bad. Unfortunately, this is the final issue of the book, so hopefully this just means that they're going to change the name and relaunch it. But if they don't, that's pretty disappointing because it is a really solid book with great artwork and great aesthetic, good character dialogue, really interesting new characters for the DC universe. I'd say it's a success overall. They just need to change that name. Then we have The Flash, number 65, The Price. We have The Silencer, number 14, another good DC, New Age of DC Heroes book, which will be continuing for the foreseeable future. We have The Terrifics, another really great book that I discussed earlier, number 13. Again, part of the New Age of DC Heroes. This one, I believe, only introduces one new character in Phantom Girl, but all the other characters are just lesser known characters that just weren't really fleshed out in prior books, in my opinion, and really get to shine in this book. And caveat, it's very self-aware that it's a Fantastic Four ripoff, but it doesn't hurt it because it fully acknowledges it and embraces it and takes it to the next level with really good character development and kind of fun, lighthearted adventures in addition to a more serious side for the individual character, which is probably the best way to do it. Next up, we got Wonder Woman number 65, and that wraps up DC. From Boom Studios, we have Bone Parish number 7. We have Buffy the Vampire Slayer number 2. We have Firefly number 4. I know there's a lot of Firefly fans out there, including Emery. We have Labyrinth Coronation number 11. We have Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's Morphin' Time! Number 36. We have Smooth Criminals, number 4. We have Steven Universe, number 25. We have The Avant-Gardes, number 2. And that wraps up Boom. From Image Comics, we have Hardcore, number 3. We have Ice Cream Man, which is the kind of pseudo Stephen King style horror book, number 10. We have Mage the Hero Denied, number 15. We have Man-Eaters, number 6. We have Oliver, number 2. We have Outcast, number 39. We have Redlands, number 11. We have Rose, number 17. We have Spawn, number 294. We have The Realm, number 11. And we have The Wicked and the Divine, number 42. From Dynamite Entertainment, we have many titles abreast here. We have Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, number 5. We have Hack and Slash versus Chaos, number 3. We have John Wick, number 5. We have Peter Cannon, Thunderbolt, number 2. And that wraps up Dynamite. From Dark Horse Comics, we have definitely not Aliens. From Dark Horse Comics, we have Aliens Resistance, number 2. We have Black Hammer, Age of Doom, number 8. We have Crimson Lotus, number 4. We have Fight Club 3, number 2. We have Hellboy and the BPRD, 1956, number 4. And we have Wired, number 2, spelled WYRD. From IDW Publishing, we have Atomic Robo, Dawn of the New Era, number 3. We have Punk's Not Dead, London Calling, number 1. We have Sonic the Hedgehog, Gotta Go Fast, number 14. Star Trek, The Q Conflict, number 2. Q being a character that's very much based on the Star Trek The Next Generation and beyond, which is a godlike character that's obsessed with Jean-Luc Picard and loves to terrorize the man. Next up, from Valiant, we have Bloodshot, Rising Spirit, number 4. We have The Forgotten Queen, number 1. From Titan Books, we have Life is Strange, number 4. We have Tank Girl, Action Alley, number 3. From Archie Comics, we have Betty and Veronica, number 3. From Lions Forge Comics, we have Catalyst Prime, Kino, number 14. We have Catalyst Prime Summit, number 13. And we have Quincredible, number 4. From Oni Press, we have Invader Zim, number 40. We have Rick and Morty, number 47. From Scout Comics, we have Once Our Land, Book 2, number 1. We have Shadow Play, number 2. We have The Cyber Spectre, number 2. And we have Wolfborn, spelled Wulfborne, number 1. From Vertigo, we have Hexwives, number 5. And we have the latest addition to the Sandman universe books, The Books of Magic, number 5. Okay. And that is everything coming to your local comic book shops.
Please support your local comic book shops.
And digital devices this week. Now it's time to hand out the prestigious, nay life-changing award of cover and variant cover of the week from Hit the Books Podcast.
Ooh.
First up, your cover of the week goes to Vertigo's The Books of Magic, number 5. This one, another Sandman Universe title, who has been consistently great, at least for the cover art. We still need to dive into this one, but
yeah, we do. Oh my god,
it's part of the whole Sandman universe, Neil Gaiman universe that they've been trying to build.
Sandman,
based on these Sandman books, which are very famous and very good. This cover has been done by Kai Carpenter, and it's excellent. It's wonderful. It's aesthetic. It's ethereal, like many of the other Sandman books. It has a very stark kind of fantasy vibe to it, like the classic fantasy paperback art styles that were underappreciated, in my opinion.
When a comic book cover reminds me of both The Labyrinth and The Neverending Story all in the same fucking cover, you win by default.
Yeah, I was definitely, I was getting more of like a Neverending Story mixed with like Harry Potter vibe from it.
Yeah.
And now I might be biased because there's a character with dark hair and glasses writing in a big book with a giant owl on his shoulder.
Right.
So clearly there's some Harry Potter tones there.
Yeah, playing around with it a little bit.
But yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful aesthetic. It has a very cool art style, very kind of watercolor brush stroke like, just beautiful cover art, and really everything about it, from the aesthetics of the title overlay, the DC Vertigo logo, which is the new one that I really love, the cool kind of half crescent moon numbering there on the bottom panel. Everything is great about it, and I really, really enjoy it. I think Kai Carpenter did a wonderful job, and really can't wait to see what else happens with these Sandman universe books, because basically every single one has had something interesting on the cover, and that's outstanding, and I can't wait to actually dive into these books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so big congratulations to Kai Carpenter for your work on Vertigo's The Books of Magic number 5. Now it's time to hand out the prestigious, nay life-changing award of variant cover of the week. This one goes to DC's Justice League Odyssey number 6 variant cover. This one done by Tony Fonte.
Interesting.
Now this one, it has a very
about this cover.
Yeah. It has an aesthetic for sure.
It definitely does.
That I occasionally fall victim to, but I think it's good.
Yeah. Okay, I will say this about it without getting into what this cover is obviously trying to do. This is the kind of cover that looks like it's kind of trying to be both a comic book cover and a movie poster a little bit.
Just a little bit.
At the same time.
Just enough.
Enough.
Just enough to be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So it features Jessica Cruz, Green Lantern, and Starfire. For those of you unfamiliar with this book, Justice League Odyssey is kind of a spin-off of the Dark Knight's Metal / No Justice book. No Justice being good, Dark Knight's Metal, you be the judge. I know I'm in the minority, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
But it kind of naturally forms a ragtag group that go off trying to respond to this kind of warning message, help, SOS message, more or less, as many ragtag team books kind of start off with.
Yeah, as you do.
It's a very common comic book trope. But you end up with Jessica Cruz, Starfire, Cyborg, for some reason that I still can't decipher, Azrael, and more or less Darkseid kind of. I'm only 2 issues in, but
How do we get Batman in this without putting Batman in this?
I guess, but Azrael doesn't need to be there at all. I don't know why Azrael, is there. I don't think we need a Saint of Dumas,
Saint of Dumbass?
Some Saint of Dumbass, yeah. I don't think we need him there. A Gotham, a very local character staged exclusively in Gotham on Earth. For some reason needs to wear a bat symbol in space.
All of the universe must fear the bat.
I guess. I don't. It's real dumb and unnecessary. But the book is very, very well drawn. And Dan Abnett's writing it, so of course it's great.
Of course.
Dan Abnett's a great writer. Check out his Aquaman run.
Oh, yeah.
But back to the cover art, which is the whole focus. It's done in a really cool kind of, it's almost like a cell shade, like a hand-drawn cell-shaded design.
Yeah.
It has a really, really cool, unique aesthetic to it. It's clearly a big, action shot where Jessica Cruz has summoned all of these different pointy weapons, ready to eviscerate her opponent with her Green Lantern ring. And then Starfire very dramatically shooting lasers out of her hands at some kind of opponent, we're assuming. But of course,
that's what she does.
But of course, it's in a very strategic movie poster like pose. And then you have the very subtle DC logo on the very top, which I like. I love it when DC doesn't feel the need to crush the comic book art with its logo and actually lets the logo shine. As you can tell from this variant, there is no quotes on it, which is beautiful.
Thank God.
I hate covers with quotes on it. I hate covers that have some unnecessary... If you put it on the volume, fine. It's a volume. That's what you're supposed to do to advertise a volume. Yeah. It does not need to be on each individual issue. I don't
really
need to see advertisements for the next upcoming movie. I don't need to see speech bubbles on the fucking cover. We're not in the 1950s and 40s anymore. Don't do it.
Right.
So, really love that this artwork is allowed to shine. It has brilliant color work. I don't know if Tony Infante did the coloring for this issue, but it is a very stark and very wonderful color outlay over a very, very cool kind of pseudo cel-shaded aesthetic. I'm assuming it was done via digital means using some kind of tablet or something like that, but that doesn't take away from how wonderful and beautiful the cover work is. And of course, if you're fans of Starfire or Jessica Cruz, it's a pretty badass cover for both of them. So be sure to get your hands on that if you so choose. And that is everything for the covers of the week. So, big shout out to Justice League Odyssey number 6 variant cover from DC, done by Tony Infante, and Vertigo's The Books of Magic number 5, done by Kai Carpenter.
Guts.
And of course, if you want to know, did the content match the drapes, be sure to tune in next week to find out. I will probably get around to Justice League Odyssey because I need to catch up on it anyway, and I really love it. So, look forward to that probably next week. Yeah, that's everything. Sandman universe, there's so much to catch up on, so I wouldn't expect that unless you're caught up, but it's a lot of content, so
yeah,
we'll see how that goes. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the show, this is the segment where we talk about a topic of our choosing about the world of comic books. Emery, what is our topic?
Our topic today actually comes as kind of a what if, just brainstorming, putting ideas out there. So there's this really good movie by Marvel that we both like called Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, I'd say we like it.
Yeah,
quite a bit.
We like it a lot. And it's very clear to anyone who's familiar with any of John Hughes' work as a director that is the aesthetic that movie was going for. To feel something along the lines of, I don't know, kind of like a Breakfast Club or National Lampoon's type deal, which...
somewhere in there. Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
16 Candles or something like that.
Yeah, definitely probably more 16 Candles than anything.
Yeah, kind of a coming-of-age ish book.
Definitely. Which Spider-Man's perfect for doing that with.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. And... yeah, if you guys are looking forward to Spider-Man Far From Home, maybe just watch National Lampoon's European Vacation. That might be where they're getting a lot of their ideas.
We'll see.
We'll see. But it occurred to me that there are probably a few titles where you could do something like that. And one that actually just came to mind is there's a DC comic book character that never really gets much love at all. His name is Animal Man.
Unless you look at the New 52.
Oh, yeah.
During which Animal Man was probably it's close. I'd say probably the best book in the New 52.
I would probably
and there
say
was
it
a
is
lot
too.
of really good books in the New 52. I'm not saying that a New 52 didn't have great books. It had a ton of great books.
New 52 was great. The 52 series itself really featured Animal Man as like probably one of the most capable heroes that DC has, but never gets any play.
Yeah.
But imagine for a moment that we took that character and made a movie pretty similar to Ace Ventura.
This could go wrong in so many ways.
Now follow me for a minute.
I don't want to. Because DC, their cocaine-addled production crew, are going to hear this idea and think, that's fucking brilliant.
You better fucking pay me if you do this shit.
We'll put it on the DC streaming app. It'll be great.
They might.
Buy DC Universe. Give us money.
Okay.
China. You like Animal Man? Of course you do.
Oh my god.
You don't speak English.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. We went there.
Yeah, we went there.
I mean, hell, if
You
they
don't know how dumb something is if you can't understand it.
Venom, I'm looking at you. Okay. So Ace Ventura,
in the wind.
like a turd in the wind. If your turds are thin and light enough to float in the wind, see your gastroenterologist. Immediately. Turds are not supposed to do that.
Nope.
Nope, not even a little.
Nope.
The aesthetic of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, and to some extent Ace Ventura when Nature Calls. That was the sequel. Oh my god.
Yeah,
They
I'm
let
not
Jim
with
Cur-
you so far, so
They
you
went-
better start convincing me real quick.
Okay. So we have this movie coming out called Shazam.
I am so hyped for this movie. You have no idea how hyped I am for this movie.
Okay, now this is a movie that is in a lot of ways going to embrace the wonder, the fun,
The muscle suit.
the comedy. Yes, the muscle suit, because
Yeah.
there's no way Zachary Levi's getting anywhere close to that jacked.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready. This was the movie I was least convinced about, even though I love Shazam.
Yeah.
After that trailer,
After that trailer, you were sold.
completely sold.
Oh yeah.
One trailer.
Oh yeah.
Completely sold. Now, I have been tricked by DC's trailers before. Suicide Squad, I'm looking at you.
Yep.
But I'm ready. They pulled me back in again.
Yep.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yep. I'm
I hope
sold.
I love it. I hope I love
I am
it.
so sold.
Don't fuck me over again.
Yeah.
Don't hurt me again.
Okay. Now.
It's like Harley's relationship with Joker. I just keep going back for the beatings.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's not do that. Okay, so imagine for a moment we have a movie where we actually get to embrace a little bit of the silliness, a little bit, but we, instead of engaging like full Jim Carrey, we go into a little bit more of the hero side, but sometimes he gets a little silly because he gets his powers from animals and maybe occasionally starts to act a little bit like them.
Okay, can I propose a change to this?
What change?
Instead of Animal Man, why don't you just use Beast Boy? Because clearly that's what you want to do. You want to make a Beast Boy movie.
Okay, while a Beast Boy movie could be cool, they will never do a fucking Beast Boy movie because he literally is useless outside of having the Teen Titans around him.
They were going to make a Cyborg movie. Same thing is true.
Yes, hence why he's on the Doom Patrol now.
Booyah. Flaccid Booyah makes its return. Thanks, Justice League.
No.
I genuinely wonder if that was something that Zack Snyder did before he left the project, or if they added that in, if they added the Flaccid Booyah in after he left.
It's like, this movie is so serious, but we have to let people know that we kind of watched Teen Titans a little bit.
I honestly need to know. Booyah.
We are never. No. None of that. None of that. This is why we go with Animal Man, because they need to figure out the fucking Teen Titans first before we even touch any of those characters individually.
But we can build a Teen Titans universe where we have a movie for each individual character, and they culminate in a Teen Titans movie.
Pitch a fucking Starfire movie to me.
Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Okay.
All of that, except she eventually gets jettisoned to Earth. Done.
Sure.
You have James Gunn.
Maybe.
Make it happen.
Maybe. James Gunn needs to, instead of doing Suicide Squad, he needs to do Teen Titans.
You can talk about the whole war on Tamaran, how her and her sister became slaves, have the whole dynamic where they lead a rebellion and the sister kind of goes evil and whatever else, and she gets exiled to Earth, or exiled to this part of the galaxy, and she happens to hit Earth or whatever the case may be. It's very easy to write. I could write it for you.
I'm sure you could. That being said,
Beast Boy, animal pet detective comedy. It's Beast Boy. You're welcome.
Beast Boy
You're welcome.
Beast Boy only works if he has someone, at least one other person with him, which Cyborg. Beast Boy, Cyborg, that's another Thor Ragnarok.
Do I really want another Thor Ragnarok?
You already watched Aquaman.
I did. It's a very good point. It's a very good point.
If anything, this will be their chance to do that, but get it right? Maybe.
Hey, side note, you remember in Avengers Age of Ultron where Thor had this dramatic nightmare vision in the pool, and supposedly it was all about the terror that would be Ragnarok? And you remember how in Ragnarok none of that really happened?
Like none of it?
None of it?
Yeah.
Not
even a little?
He was partying with Jeff Goldblum for the entire movie. And then something dramatic happened at the end, but it didn't really happen because all they did was leave the planet. And they're like, hey, Asgard's not a place, it's a people. And we're like, bullshit. Literally all of your powers came from that little place right there.
Yeah,
so,
double, triple bullshit.
Yep, calling you out on that one, buddy.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Side note.
Side note, here's how that movie should have ended. Asgard isn't a place, it's a people. Oh, hey, I think I see Surtur. And Hela. And they're coming this way.
Fuck.
Oh, shit.
Fuck Asgard.
That is how you should end that movie. If
Yeah.
you're going to blow up the planet that gives them their powers.
Is it even a planet, though?
It's a realm.
It's like a plane.
Yeah, it's
basically
it exists on the X and Y axis.
It's the best argument for the flat Earth movement.
Oh no!
Yeah. Disney supports the flat Earth theory.
No!
Just thought you should know.
No! It hurts.
Shut up, you shill, you. Who paid you? Huh?
No!
Corporate shill. We know it. Asgard's flat. Why isn't Earth? Huh? Have you seen Earth? Probably not.
Have you been to space? No.
How do you know?
I know because I can't see the Statue of Liberty or the fucking Empire State? Is that still a big one? I can't see those. I really can't see them.
It's because of the haze, man. Okay,
The haze.
the haze.
Oh
okay?
my god, the
haze.
like the haze over the earth
Yeah,
that's only flat.
yeah.
That's why you can't see
Oh
it.
yeah, it gets magnified. The further you look, the more haze is in the way. Until
Oh.
eventually you can't see anything.
Oh, okay.
You
It's not
shill.
like we're
You shill.
constantly
You
traveling
round earth
over
shill.
something. Oh. You can get it. You know what I'm gonna do?
Asgard is proof.
I'm gonna go to the edge of the earth once I fucking find it and throw you right the fuck off and see what happens.
Hey, Jack Sparrow went off the edge of the earth.
We don't talk about that.
More proof.
Oh my god.
So dumb. All right. Sorry, I keep distracting you from your Animal Man who should be Beast Boy.
Okay, we're using Animal
Ace-
Man
Ace
because he never
Ventura.
gets enough play.
Okay.
That is the biggest reason.
But we need a serious movie with Animal Man. He shouldn't be in a comedy. Have you
But
read?
he works-
Have you read the entire run of the New 52 Animal Man?
I have,
Very serious book.
and we could do that for movie 2.
Horrifically serious.
We can go straight into movie 2. But movie 1 ought to be about embracing how Animal Man is. He's cool, and he gets all these animal powers when he's around animals, and
You're describing Beast Boy.
okay, he can change into animals. That is what Beast Boy does. He turns into the beast as opposed to just copying their abilities.
All right, give me a second here. Please continue.
And
You have my undivided money. I mean, attention.
and we make his villain, as a twist, Gorilla Grodd.
I am so against this. It's not even funny. I am so seriously. DC, just close your ears, earmuffs. La 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 la. Can't hear anything. Do not.
The money's
do
right
this.
there. The money's right
I
there.
know you're crazy enough to
Come
do it.
on.
Don't do it.
Come on.
Don't. Please don't do it.
It would be so much fun, though.
I don't even like you ejecting this idea into the internet sphere. I might edit it out. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, that.
I'm just gonna censor you straight up. I called out DC for censoring a book last week, so I'm gonna be a complete hypocrite. And get rid of this.
I fucking
movie
dare
idea
you
before they destroy what
yeah.
goodwill they have left.
Yeah, and I'll have a petition signed where you have to release the uncut footage.
No, I won't fold. I won't.
Petitions work, right?
Apparently. Thanks, DC.
Thanks.
Fucking idiots.
God damn it.
I love you. I love you, DC. I would never hurt you.
DC, I love you, but sometimes fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my idea.
Okay, let me pitch one for you.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna try to keep the details light. 'Cause
Okay.
I think I want to write this idea,
Okay.
at least for a comic.
Okay.
But
Let's pitch it.
let's have an X-Men movie
All right, you have me so far.
where you star Wolverine and Cyclops.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, I
it's
mean,
like-
you're already sold.
Yeah,
clearly.
pretty much. So Wolverine and Cyclops, what are they doing?
So we're gonna have a very Howard Hughes esque thought bubble there.
Okay.
And we're going to have some issues with them as instructors, where they're constantly fighting in front of the students for obvious reasons.
Teachers, stop fighting.
And Xavier has listened to this bickering for the final time. He calls them into his office. He berates them. He tells them, I'm this close to firing both of you and just sending you home on your way, then kicking you out of the X-Men, blah, 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 blah. And of course, we have the other X-Men in the room, Jean Grey, feeling guilty because she's often the reason why they're fighting. We have, say Storm in there trying to kind of come up with ideas for solutions. And then Beast, the very calm, controlled, very cerebral individual who comes up with a brilliant plan to fix this problem.
Of course, Beast would come up with a plan.
A place where they can kind of work out their aggressions in a non-harmful way.
Go on.
Beast steps in before Professor Xavier decides to fire them and says, "Hold on, Professor. Why don't we put them each in charge of the troubled students' junior league basketball teams?"
All right.
And so they each have to coach a rival mutant team. And of course, they have to have a rival mutant team because what normal school is going to compete with a bunch of mutants that can possibly kill them on the basketball court?
Yeah.
And they are each in charge of picking the teams, coaching the teams, and ensuring that they don't get into trouble in the process. And so this puts them in a kind of after-school activity that'll distract them from what they're constantly bickering about, aka Jean Grey. It gives them the opportunity to kind of compete with each other in a natural way. It gives them a chance to kind of bond with the students and help them grow as children into young teens and adults.
Mm-hmm.
And it sets up for a lot of great, wonderful, hilarious shenanigans.
Ooh.
So clearly you're going to cast a handful of interesting mutants on your basketball teams.
Of course.
You're going to have fun with the whole like picking one by one process. And of course you're going to wonder who's going to be the last student picked.
Oh.
Which could be a very nice dynamic.
Oh, yeah?
You could have, you know, the kind of suck up on Cyclops' team that's always sucking up to Cyclops, but he hates it. You could have the student that's always doing stupid crap and being lazy, maybe like the Blob or something like that on Logan's team that he has to constantly coach and, you know, bring around and kind of lead him by the hand. And then you have the kind of side-by-side dynamics between Wolverine and Cyclops where they're kind of having like a Waterboy-esque like rivalry as coaches, and they're instead of like actively fighting each other, they're just fighting each other through their game plans and getting everything set up. You know, maybe you can make it a football team instead of a basketball team, whatever sport you want.
Yeah, you could literally put any sport in this.
But you could have some really cool side notes, like maybe, you know, Jean Grey is feeling lonely and feeling like they have, you know, whichever one, I guess Cyclops in this point isn't giving her enough attention, so she goes and tries to kind of woo him a little bit. But he's so focused on beating Logan and getting the perfect game plan together, he just kind of shoos her away. He says, "Get out of here, Jean. I'm busy. I'm sorry. I got to get this game plan done, or Logan's gonna beat me again." You know? And then you know, she pouts, and then she goes and like tries to get Logan to go out and get some food with her or something.
Yeah.
And he's just obsessed with beating Cyclops. So he just doesn't have the time of day for her, which solves like half of their fighting problems.
It is like, there is no way I am letting that one-eyed, sycophantic little fucking Boy Scout beat me in a fucking sporting event. I don't care what it is.
It's so perfect. I love the idea. You could have like just various, you know, assistant coaches. Maybe have like Gambit come in as an assistant coach. That
Yep.
You know, you put the most infantile adult mutant there, the most irresponsible assistant coach possible.
Oh yeah, this would be the perfect time for him to shine as just a jackass. This is like, pardon me while I use the whistle way too much.
And then kind of have a couples dynamic, maybe have Rogue come in as like Wolverine's assistant coach or something like that, vice versa, and have them like also going at it because they're competing with each other too. It's just so fun.
Oh my, there's so many ways that this could play out wonderfully.
Yeah, I think if you get the right cast together and you just take the chances, just as like a side note, it doesn't have to have some big overarching, you know, apocalyptic, you know, storyline. We don't need a Dark Phoenix saga. Go fuck off with that nonsense. We can have
we don't need Magneto showing up and fucking up everything again.
Yep, and we can have the Xavier School be what it should be. A fun
fucking school. Yes.
And I think that could make for a really great movie and possibly comic book. Don't fucking steal my idea. I want to write this book.
Yeah, don't you do it.
If you want me to write this book for you, please reach out to us.
Oh, yeah.
At thebooksvids@gmail.com.
Oh, yeah.
I'm normally a DC guy, but I love me some X-Men.
Oh, yeah. We have a brilliant idea. And could it be played to such good degree?
Yeah. So that's my idea. I think we could put so many cool, interesting characters in there. I can even like picture like it's kind of one of those times where Xavier and Magneto are more or less on friendly terms, and have like Magneto kind of pop in during a portion and have his own little group pop in or something.
Oh yeah, see, Magneto would be wonderful as like the dean of his own school.
Yeah,
and he just kind of shows up and and says, "Ugh, your shenanigans are so banal and just distasteful. How do you not have control over your teachers by now?
Or you
This is truly beneath you, Charles. Why do you even let this happen?" And then, out of nowhere, for the sequel, Magneto shows up with his own sports team.
Oh, dude, I'm so about this. You have no idea.
Oh, my God. And, of course, his team would be called the Acolytes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I want it. Cut, print, fucking... This writes itself.
There is so much gold in this idea. If you can... If the fans could set aside the like seriousness that they've been shoving into the Fox movies for so long, and kind of the heavy weight of the overall arc of the current Marvel universe, which is great. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's definitely a good thing to have some big existential threat in Thanos and whatever else,
right,
in every story. But I think it would be really cool just to kind of experiment with the franchise.
Yeah.
Kind of a low budget film. It doesn't have to be a $300 million film. It can be a $20 million film and still be fucking excellent.
Yeah, this is...
That's just character focused dynamic between two of the most popular X-Men. And just...
You know what this is? This is us actually letting the Xavier School for the Gifted be the Hogwarts that it was always meant to be. Even before Hogwarts was Hogwarts. Come on, guys. Yep. How have we not done this already?
So please don't rip me off.
Please, don't you do it.
Don't make a cartoon of it. Don't make a comic book of it. I will contribute.
Yeah, just let him do it.
Let me do it.
I swear to God.
Let me do it. I have so many good ideas.
We have plenty of good ideas.
We've talked a lot about this off camera.
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't shared all of them because I don't want you to steal them.
Yeah, don't you do it.
Please let me do this. Please?
It's just put pen to paper.
I'm so ready. I want to do it.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you got to do it. You got to get it out.
Oh, yeah. And what's that mutant you were telling me about that I've forgotten about already? Not Siphon.
Leech?
Leech. Thank you.
Yeah.
You could have Leech be the ref to kind of try to attempt to make sure that none of the mutants, use their powers unfairly or hurt each other.
Like, I want a good clean match.
Yep.
Anyone who uses their powers out of hand will be thrown out.
But then you could have a part where like Gambit kind of schemes a way to like distract him for a moment so they can cheat.
Oh yeah. That's the one thing brilliant about having Gambit as
and then you can...
secondary coach to either Wolverine or Cyclops is that he's the one who will secretly play fucking dirty because fuck the rules.
And then once Wolverine and Rogue realize what's happening, they have Rogue touch Leech so that she can use his powers and like bring them back to even plane again.
Oh, but
and then they have a little little bickering between the lovers there.
Yeah.
And the newlywed couple.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Oh, I'm so ready.
Oh my God.
I'm so ready for this.
I am so fucking down. Whoo. Fucking get to writing this shit, man.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I just came up with another idea. I don't want to share it, but yeah. Getting more ideas.
Oh.
But yeah, that's my movie idea for a kind of a light-hearted Spider-Man Homecoming-esque type of dynamic, although Spider-Man Homecoming still had the big overarching story. But
yeah,
the majority of that movie was about Peter Parker being Peter Parker.
Which is kind of the strength of that movie.
Yeah, very much so. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode and this topic discussion. I want to thank you for sticking with us through another mediocre edition of Hit the Books Podcast.
Mediocre!
If you like what you hear, be sure to hit like and subscribe down on our YouTube channel and rate well elsewhere. It really does help us out. Once again, we are now on YouTube, Stitcher, iTunes, and Spotify. By popular demand. Woo. So be sure to subscribe and leave us a nice review on each of those services. Once again, it really does help us out. We are going to be breaking off the kind of issues of the coming issues of the week as a separate video in addition to being the main video. So if you just need a refresher of what's coming out this week, you can actually just listen to the episode.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll separate it and just have it read off by myself there. So look forward to that. We'll add a little bit of rendering time, so hopefully it doesn't delay anything. But that's what I'm going to attempt to do.
Let's see how it works.
Remember, you can always reach out to us on Twitter at HTBvids. You can reach out to us on Facebook at /hitthebooks. You can go to our website, htbvids.com. Once again, htbvids.com, where you can find links to all these things and more content as well. You can always check out our weekly covers and variant covers of the week on the website as well. So be sure to check those out to see the former ones. Am I missing anything? Oh, and be sure to check out our wrestling podcast, Hit the Mats. Again,
Yes,
hit
a second
the mats,
channel.
Hit the Mats now, not Hit the Books. The videos are under the YouTube channel Hit the Books Videos or Hit the Books Vids. I can't remember what I renamed it. I think it's Hit the Books Vids. I'm going to say it's Hit the Books Vids.
Yeah, let's go with that.
But both shows will be on that YouTube channel. However, on your podcast services, they will be separated because podcasts have moved forward into the future and allow us to put multiple shows under the same account, where YouTube has not. So,
Not yet.
unfortunately, they're not separated, but feel free to subscribe and enjoy those anyway. I think that's everything. Did I miss anything?
I think that was it.
All right. Once again, I want to thank you for sticking with us. We will see you next week on Hit the Books Podcast. Don't fucking steal my idea.
Don't you do it.
Let me do it.
Oh, X-Men Little Giants. Let's fucking go.
I'm so about this.
It's so good.